Why does corruption feel like it's a part of Malaysia's culture? Is it because Malaysians are naturally corrupt, or is there a deeper reason why it's everywhere? To answer this question, I want to talk about these three dudes who won the Nobel Prize in economics last year. Basically, they managed to come up with a really convincing answer to the question, why are some countries rich while some countries poor? Now, before these guys came along, experts were kind of torn about this. Some argued that if a country was rich, they can then afford to get their shit together. But what these guys did was prove the opposite. They proved it's actually getting your shit together first that helps a country become rich. And then when I say a country having its shit together, I mean something really specific. I mean having strong institutions which are basically like the rules of the game that decide whether that country is fair or rigged for the elites. So these Nobel nerds divided up into two kinds of institutions. The first, inclusive institutions where the rules that exist apply to everyone. And then the second, which they call extractive institutions, where the rules only benefit the elites and the system extracts from the many to enrich the few. Let me give you an example using my driving license. So to drive in Malaysia, first you got to get your license from JPJ. If you have a car, you got to buy insurance so you can pay your road tax. Then when you're driving on roads that was built by a company appointed by the government to do so. And then if you get into an accident, the police investigate, the insurance pays, and if there's a dispute, the courts settle it. That whole process, the license, tax, insurance, roads, police, courts, all of those are examples of institutions. Now, imagine it in two ways. In an inclusive system, anyone who passes the JPJ test fair and square gets a license. Road contracts go to the best company that bid for the project. Insurance pays fairly. Courts treat everyone the same. In an extractive system, licenses go to people who pay extra for them. Road contracts go to cronies so that the roads are overpriced and shit. Insurance scams you. Courts only side with the rich and powerful. Same car, same road, but totally different outcomes depending on what kind of institutions your country has. So for Malaysia, why does corruption feel like it's part of our culture? It's not because we're inherently corrupt. It's because our institutions are weak. For the longest time, we've had government contracts awarded through direct negotiations instead of open tenders. We've had legal systems that apply one set of rules for the rich and another for the poor. We've had networks of corporations and government bodies led by people appointed because of their connections rather than their abilities. Now, the good news is we can fix this. We can do things like strengthen the MACC to make them independent from outside interference. We can separate the Attorney General from the public prosecutor so that the guy in charge of defending the government isn't also the only guy who can charge the government for wrongdoing. We can separate the role of Prime Minister from the Finance Minister so that the person holding all the country's money isn't also the same person holding all the country's power at the same time. And here's the thing, all of these fixes were promised in Pakatan Harapan's manifesto. We already have the solutions to our problems on the table. We just need the government to actually keep their promises to do the things they said they'd do. Long story short, corruption isn't a part of our culture. It's just a product of our weak institutions. And as long as we're aware of what our true problem actually is, we'll be able to get it done before it becomes too late.